hey, if you keep killing Christians in your country, like we're gonna have to take action, whether that's their religious belief or their skin color. Like you can't just go out here and genocide people. Super Cannon Plus.
So, guys, let me tell you something. I know Kyle, I've shared this before, and I've said this before. We are brothers from another mother. And I will tell you what, I don't know if it's the weather, but brother, right now, my sinuses are draining like
Oh,
crazy. I
dude,
mean, tell me about it,
unreal.
brother. Tell me about it.
Oh, dude,
I mean,
my head's been about to explode the last couple of days. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah. Jonathan, I never hear you with any sinus issues at all. What's your secret?
I have seasonal allergies, so they come around when they
Yeah.
come around. This is on my desk just in case, little allergy pills, but I don't need them almost ever. Now, have you tried using the like the neti pots and stuff like that to clear all that out?
Oh yeah. Oh, it
I've
helps
used
big
it
time.
before.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Get some salt water in there. It'll break it
Hmm.
up, loose it up, and then it'll all come
Yeah,
tumbling
but
down.
I'm like a factory. Mine's like 24/7, man.
Dude, it
Learn how
helps
to
out.
monetize it.
It helps out. I know, right? You can sell this stuff. Woo! Be
Oh boy.
loaded.
Like chewing people's food and selling it to them. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, yeah. It's bearing grease. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yes.
Too funny.
I don't think it would quite hold up to that. Maybe if you wanted to glue something together, that might work better. But
Right, right.
but yeah,
So
this past weekend, Kyle, I could tell when we were doing our Bible study, me and you were just like in between stuff, man. It's like, and I apologize ahead of time for anybody listening to that. And you can hear us clearing our throats and clearing our. We must have cleared our throats, I think, more times than we ever had before. During a Bible study. And then Jonathan's over there mocking it. I don't know if you heard Jonathan mocking you or not, but every time you clear your throat, Jonathan was clearing his.
No, I didn't.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Go
never
back and
understood
watch the
that.
Bible. Every time you go, Jonathan would go, oh, oh, oh.
Why would I ever do something like that?
It's
You don't be-
recorded. It's
Right.
there.
you don't know that I didn't have sinus issues that day.
Because no, because every time I clear my throat, he clear his. Every time Kyle cleared his throat, he clear his. I'm like, oh. I looked over him like, I see what you're doing. Oh my goodness.
I
Keeps me
can't help
occupied
it,
during the
man.
lulls in conversation.
Yeah.
Well,
So, have you guys heard recently? Okay, you know they talk about people and screen time, right? Like everybody's got too much screen time.
oh yeah,
The death
Netflix and
scroll,
yeah, the
yeah.
phone,
all that. Yeah.
and
Phones,
then
all of it.
Blue
all of our
light.
jobs now. At least most jobs have some kind of computer. So, have you heard about this new kids camp that's coming out about screens?
Kids
Kids
camp.
camp.
Yeah, it's a kids camp. So before you used to go like
Uh,
outdoors, you used to go to like band camp or whatever sports football camp. So
Mhm.
now there's this new camp because parents are frazzled and they're turning to screen time coaches, paying $8,000 to detox their kids and rein in their technology. From personal screen time coaches to online communities, caregivers are looking for any help they can get with the tech usage.
Wait. So they're
oh, oh.
trying to help regulate kids' screen time.
Hmm.
Help get them out of that by
Right.
having something online.
No, no, no. This is a camp. Remember, that's why I was
Oh,
the
so they do actually go to a camp.
yeah. You have
Okay.
to go to the camp with a tech guide to help you regulate screen time. Is
So
what?
is this like Camp Apple or Camp Android or what is this camp?
That's the different sides. Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
mean, it's not a bad idea,
Right.
Hey,
but
Because
that's
they
a
were
lot
going
of
through
money.
stats like kids 12, like a quarter of kids 12 and under already have their own personal smartphone. And so they're just going through like all these stats and they're like, what a world that we live in where like that's the thing. We have to send kids like before it was like if you were overweight or if you were like having like, image issues or something like that, they'd send you to camp and then like, cause it was to get you better, they were trying to help you to fit in a little bit. But now it's like, you're just on the screen too much. You got to go to camp.
Right.
$8,000 to get less screen time.
look, you know
Wow.
what? I'm a Gen Xer, and we had our parents and growing up in that world, we had ways to get your attention.
Yeah.
If you'd like to pay
Yeah.
me $8,000 to do so, I'll be
Exactly.
more than happy.
I think that's the part that made me more surprised than anything. It was the $8,000. I'm like, just unplug the Wi-Fi, right? Take all the chargers away. Like you have
Right.
options at
See,
home.
that's
The
Jonathan. Now
parents
you got to
deal with the
remember
same
this.
problems, though.
This is like an addiction. So if you were to cut them off completely, they'd have relapses and may
Mm,
have seizures and different things. You have to gently bring them down from all of this. Okay,
mm.
Do
from
you,
12 hours a day of screen time to 10 hours to 8 hours. Just kind of gradually break them down. So yeah,
you know what's hilarious about that is the parents that are sending their children off to these camps to do that, where there are two-parent homes to do this. I'll guarantee you that both of them are just going to sit at home and be on their phones.
Mm-hmm. You'll be
Well,
tracking them on their app. Oh, I noticed that you were in archery today. I saw it on the app. There's a video posted, somebody taking a YouTube video of you
yeah,
at camp.
right.
Let me check your air tag and make sure you're still at camp, because we got to get
wow.
away from the screens. But it is also
Uh,
funny just because, like, man, our parenting styles have changed so much. Like, could you imagine having that as an issue 10 years ago? Could you imagine your parent being like, I'm going to pay this much money to send you somewhere at all for anything?
No,
I don't even know if my parents spent 8,000 on a vacation for a whole, ever for anything.
right,
Like
right.
a good thing.
That's insane. That's
Yeah.
insane. Like even if you take into consideration inflation and how things have changed over time, like with three of us, my mom, my dad, and myself, we went to Disney World in Orlando,
Mm,
um, and we hit up all the parks,
mhm.
and we did Universal too. But so it was a nice long vacation, but it was also a vacation where we stayed with family and drove there each day, and
Mhm.
mhm.
they knew how to make things work. We were balling on a budget, and they already got all the tickets on some kind of big group discount, some kind of something or other or whatever. So even for the three of us then, plus meals and everything else for this, you know, week and a half long vacation type thing that we had, if you tie in inflation, we wouldn't have spent anywhere near that amount of money.
Now, Kyle, that was like 50 years ago, bro. So I mean, it was
Fifty.
probably like $125 for the whole week. So it
Kyle
was
was there at
like
Right.
the grand opening.
oh yeah, you
Wow.
know,
The ribbon cutting.
it's a small world after all, isn't it?
I remember when that place was a swamp.
I remember Mickey on the steamboat. Those are the
Yes.
days.
Oh,
Choo choo.
Okay, so speaking of slightly crazy or silly or off the wall, next one. Not only they got kids going to tech camp.
mhm.
Now,
Okay.
have you heard about this new finding that people are starting to attribute to pets?
No, tell me about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Fill me
So
in.
so now your pets, we're talking dogs and cats, but mostly dogs here.
Okay.
Autistic dogs, neurodiversity in our pets, and what it might mean for us.
Bro.
So when they say neurodiversity, they literally are using having ADHD as one of my canine whirlwinds whiz past. So now the animals also have mental health issues and need probably drugs for that.
Yep. That's amazing. So
Jesus,
what?
Jesus, come. Jesus, come, please.
So no, really though, the question I got for you though. All right, so like if we have a book, right? I know there is a book for, how do you test these things? It changes all the time, and there's no real like definitive like you have this because of this. There's no like direct symptom. It's a lot of times based on environment and how you react to certain stimulus. If that book is written for humans based on stimulus in humans, like, oh, not able to sit in your chair for more than 30 minutes, yada yada, all these little small details, who's writing the book on dogs, and then what's the standard of this is a normal dog versus this is a not normal dog?
Right.
What dog professor in a lab coat is doing this testing is what
Not
I want
not
to
to
know.
not to mention the outstanding amount of numbers of different breeds and mixed breeds and everything else that bring in their own characteristics and yada yada yada, plus the environment that they're raised in and all these other things that come into play. Never mind any of that. That's crazy to me. However, you know what? Based on my understanding of where these things come from in the first place,
Mm. And we give them to dogs.
and we give
all
them
the
to
time,
dogs
every year.
all the time. Mm-hmm.
Hmm. A multiplicity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right, so
So
check this out.
I
It
don't doubt it.
says Animals cannot directly tell us how they perceive the world. In case you didn't
No.
know.
Oh, hey, we definitely need to include that in the study because I don't think most people know that.
Right.
Like
Oh
that's
no,
a big deal, breakthrough right there, guys.
it gets better.
I
Or
hope
answer
so.
or answer typical diagnostic questions. And then so they can't answer
I thought you
questions.
said it was getting better.
Oh no, it's getting
Sarcasm, huh?
yeah, yeah.
Go ahead.
However, research indicates that a range of species, including dogs, rats, mice, and non human primates, can show genetic and behavioral signs of neurodivergence. So now we're rats and mice and non human primates, not
Mhm.
the human primates, the non
Right,
human
right,
ones.
right.
Yeah. In case you guys were wondering, they had to clarify these are not human monkeys.
I never understood that term. 8 is not a prime number.
It's very even. But yeah. So how do you feel about now diagnosing our animals with the same things that humans have?
You know what? Here's my thing with that. If this is for real, that these animals are exhibiting characteristics other than what a normal dog or cat would, I would first want to know why.
Mm,
Like what has changed and what is going on that now they have this? You know, it's that same question with children. Okay, why is that number growing? You know, it used to be. I remember when I was a young lad, much older than Kyle, and back in the mid 1900s. No, I was kidding. No, oh wait, I'm not that old. But back, I remember being a child though, and remember it was like one in probably 10,000
mm,
kids, had autism or some form of, something like that. And all the way up to the day, I think it's like 1 in 10 or something, or is it something? Isn't
yeah,
it like
it's
something
up
like
there.
crazy? And the question we need to be asking ourselves is we're diagnosing all of this and we're having medications and all this other things, but what is causing this to happen?
Joe,
And the same thing with the animals. Go ahead, Kyle. I know you got an answer for me.
we're never going to ask that question.
Right. We're just gonna
If
treat it.
if we ask what causes it, then we have to address what causes it. We
Right.
Mm,
don't ever want to do that. We just want to address the
I know you're
symptoms
right.
so we can
I'm
keep those
I look,
customers coming in over the years.
I'm breaking my own rule by allowing facts to come into a conversation. I'm sorry. I
Mm.
shouldn't do that.
well, and it's 1 in 31, so it's not 1 in 10, but it's still way too
Yeah.
It's
many.
what? What
One
is
in
it?
31.
Still, I mean, it's
Yeah,
like
it's a Baskin
Uh,
Robbins
I,
amount.
all right. So I have a thought. I think personally that they've started to recognize a lull in the medication being sold. Like increase, and then starting to plateau off. And they're thinking, how can we get more customers? If we give them more, if we just push more medication on them than what we already have, people are just going to start dropping like flies, right? We've seen that start to happen when 19 was here.
Mm,
So, how do we get more customers without them dropping off? The pets.
hmm
Let's go after the pets.
Well,
yeah.
I'll tell you, I feel bad a little bit, and I'll explain. I feel bad because humans have real problems, right? You guys all know somebody that
Yeah.
has ADHD or that has autism or that has like something where they actually do have challenges in their life. And most of the time you can overcome it or you can work through it, right? I'm not saying you're just magically healed, but we can figure stuff out. I find it a little bit belittling to apply something that someone has a real struggle with and then give that same characteristic to a dog.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like you're walking around, you're like, dude, you don't know the hurdles I have to jump every day. You don't know the reminders I have to put in my phone. You don't know the times I have to like, tie a ribbon around my wrist to remember to pay the bill or whatever. And then now you're like, oh, now my dog that has the zoomies has ADHD.
Right.
No, it's just a dog that's just playing, and there's all like I said, and we've bred them to be ridiculous anyway, so they probably got problems just naturally. But
Mhm.
I don't know. It's just something about like we're starting to learn and map the brain a little bit. We're starting to learn and understand a little bit more about what are genetics and how do they work and the precursors and yada yada yada. And we're just like, sure, all this great information, all this progress, dogs, and you're like, wait. you know what, let's focus on the humans first. Let's say maybe the drugs aren't working, they're just band-aids for a bigger problem. Let's start working on the root cause of these things. Let's start working backwards a level or two and get people better, instead of just being like, no, instead of getting people better, let's just increase statistics by giving it to dogs and mice and non-human primates.
No, that's the thing, though. They never look for solutions. They only look for problems. So
Yep.
they can provide an answer, not a solution. They can provide an answer to the problem. So the more problems, the better, right?
Yeah,
So,
I
I
just
mean,
know
that's
if I had autism or something like that, I would be offended personally. I
yeah.
would be upset that you're taking that time and effort and research that could be used on humans that really need actual help on
I,
animals.
I think a lot of this just kind of goes to those people who are looking for something to complain about, something to be a victim of. One more thing that oh, my dog has this, or whatever. Poor pitiful thing. I rescued this dog and it has ADHD and it has all this whatever. At what point are we going to start seeing people walk into restaurants with 15 dogs?
Hmm.
Like, because they have to have an emotional support animal, and now their animals are going to have emotional support animals,
Right.
or are we going to have emotional support humans for the dogs?
Ooh.
Is that a possibility? Is that another way we can get checks from the government? I'm an emotional support human.
Hold on.
Hey, might be onto something there.
Send senator email about emotional support.
Dude, I think honestly, I just think it has to do with the. This is either going to go somewhere and become a thing
I hope
quickly,
not.
or it's just going to be one of those things where they realize, okay, this is a marketing flop, and I hope that's what it is.
Yeah.
Mm.
I really hope that that's what it is. I hope that people don't play into this because it's just absolute nonsense. I said it earlier and I say it again. Lord Jesus, please come soon. Like,
So
I
so
think a
so
lot of the tribulation that we deal with is our own stupidity, to be honest with you.
that's it. Yeah.
Not that we really deal with a lot of tribulation in this country, right? I mean, we have issues, we have things to deal with, but we don't really experience tribulation like most of the rest of the world out there does,
Right.
especially believers, you know?
Hmm.
So,
I mean,
anyway.
there's countries in the world right now that, I mean, even President Trump had to call and address and was like, "Hey, if you keep killing Christians in your country, like we're gonna have to take action. Like you can't, whether that's their religious belief or their skin color, like you can't just go out here and genocide people. That's not
Hmm,
okay." And it's crazy because it was
hmm.
Christians. I forget, it was a country in Africa, and I think also in Asia. There's multiple countries right now where he literally called up the country, was like, "We'll take military action if need be, but you're not going to keep killing Christians like just because."
I wonder why it was a problem there, but it's not a problem where he wants to put up casinos right now. I'm
Mhm.
not going to say the name of that place. But hey, you probably read between the lines on that one.
Yeah, so is
Yep.
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Mm. So
I
he's,
think he needs to quit talking about it and just do something. Do a show of force then.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, just don't talk about it, be about it. Let's go ahead. I mean, enough Christians have already died
right.
over the many years. We've had missionaries all over the world that, hey, you know what? Make a stance somewhere and let them know, like, hey, you need to stop.
Well,
You
I
know,
think it's like I was saying, like when we start talking about the whole idea of tribulation, like it's starting to spread and it's starting to become more in your face. Before it was, oh, it's underground China, okay, it's North Korea, it's Iraq, and
China.
Right.
it's it's spreading, it's getting more prevalent, and it's getting in your face. Like before, you didn't used to watch a YouTube video. I mean, luckily, I'm thankful that they cancel or whatever the word is, they remove all that content off the internet. But like there used to be videos of people you could just go watch and they are not alive at the end of the video. And
Right.
you're like, I never watched it. I heard people tell me about what they saw. I'm not one to go on there and look at stuff like that on the internet, but
Right.
it's becoming now like in your face. It's becoming now something where it's like the conversation hits home. There's laws being passed in America right now of who and what, or what and how you can say about who. And there's a specific group that you literally can't say anything about at all, never ever.
Hmm.
Or you personally are shut down, whatever activities you're doing in life are shut down, and you're in danger of like going to jail over it. And I don't know if that's okay. You know what I mean? Like, especially when you're reading through your Bible and you're trying to apply what it says to your life, and you're like, you got to call a spade sometimes.
Hmm.
And then if the book you're reading is now having to be taken off of shelves because of its anti properties,
Hmm.
what do you what? That's you talking about persecution. I have to get rid of my Bible because of the content in the New Testament. That's tough. That's tribulation on the home front.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, how far off are we from that? Like, there's been so much that has crept in over the years, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing. That's the thing. It's little by little, right? It's little by little.
Well, it's boiling the frog in the pot, man. It's like the heat's been turned up over time, just a little bit and a little bit and a little bit, and people don't realize it's like, hey, we've given up so many of our rights over the last 24 years.
That's very
And we'll
specific.
minus 1 year. So here we go. 2000 since 2001,
Mm,
we have literally,
I got you.
for the sake of safety, given up our rights left and right.
Hmm.
And it hasn't stopped. And it just, like you said, Kyle, it's like it seems like every year, every couple of years, or something else, something else, something else, something else, and it just keeps piling up. But the thing is long as my life's not affected by it immediately, or as long as I'm
Right.
not being stopped from doing what I want to do, or okay, it's okay. So I'm gonna tell you what, with this right here, every time, let me tell you something. Every time we get on there, and I purposely will not download hardly any apps no more, even if
Hmm.
they're just for fun, because it'll always ask you, "Oh, can you grant us access to your files?" Hmm.
Yeah. Do you
So
like chocolate chip or mint?
can we make a random? We might make a random call, or we might get into your phone contacts, or we might. I'm like going, no, no, you may not. So yeah, but it's. But I
It-
think what happens is we just over time we just you know life's good, everything's good. Oh, it's no big deal. It's just an app,
yeah.
really.
We're
It's
we're
just an app. That's all.
surveilled in everything that we do, and we give them permission
Listen,
to do
Sorry,
so.
listen,
sorry.
man.
Can you say that
Night,
word one more
night.
time, sir? What?
Surveilled.
Okay, thank you.
Let me tell you something. 1984 has been here. Okay, 1984 has already been here, and it's been established. It just doesn't look like the book. It doesn't look like the movie
Mm,
necessarily.
Oh,
So you know, look, in the movie you got like Big Brother literally on the screen the whole time and all this stuff.
yet.
It yet, but it's already here.
hmm
They already knew we cannot come out to people like that. That would be, but indiscreetly we can do things here and there. Matter of fact, this right here listens to you all the time. It hears everything you say. It's all being recorded. It's the same thing, but it's not. It's not like this face comes on your phone and goes, "We're listening to you. Be careful."
Right.
What they'll do is they'll just say, "Hey, by the way, we didn't like what you said. Well, so we'll just take it off of YouTube.
hmm
We didn't like what you said, so we're just going to take it. Whatever platform you're on, they can go in there and now just delete you out. But it's all with a smile on the face, like, yeah, that was sweet, but yeah, we're not going to let you do that. It's already been here, and it is here. It's just not. But in Kyle, to your point, maybe with the newest trend of a certain group of people you can't say anything about, maybe that's the beginning of something even more like it's going to be in your face. I don't know.
Okay. So we're talking about surveillance, right? Do
Right.
y'all remember that conversation that we had a couple of episodes back where I made the comment about something about they have the ability to track you basically anywhere, even if your phone's off, even if your battery's dead, whatever, any of that stuff. But if you're lost in the woods, they won't come find you. They won't use that
Right.
technology to come find you.
Right.
Okay. I have something to share with you guys. This is crazy. Now, I can't mention anything specifically regarding the case and all that stuff, but I've got a, me and my buddies have done some things to help various police departments and things like that recover weapons and that sort of stuff, right?
hmm
Well, so my buddy just went out of state to go do one of those types of things. They told him that they believed that the weapon was thrown off of this certain bridge at this certain location, and it was just a guess. They didn't even know that the weapon was thrown off there. They just assumed that it probably was. They told him, we knew that he took 14 steps before he changed his direction.
Right.
They could track the number of steps that he took on the bridge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Just by having his phone in his pocket.
Yep.
Not having some kind of step counter app, none of that.
Hey, congratulations! You've done your 5,000 steps for the day.
Right.
It comes up on your phone.
Right. So they knew that. They knew that within a 5-foot section where this guy would have had to have thrown this weapon off the bridge. And my buddy found the weapon in less than 35 minutes.
Wow.
Because they knew exactly where to work based on where they were, how far off the bridge someone could possibly throw, and yada, yada. Yeah, less than 35 minutes.
Sheesh.
Sometimes we spend days looking for stuff.
Well, the Murdoch thing that happened not too long ago, they actually used that as part, if I remember correctly, as part of the witness against him, because he said, "Oh, I was." When he did what he did to his family, he says, "Oh, I was somewhere else." They're like, "Yeah, but according to your phone at this time, you were at your home." And they actually, because of the phone, were able to go find the bodies.
Wow.
Mm.
And so they're like, when he said they went missing, but he wasn't there, if I remember correctly, or whatever it was. But all I know is they did use his phone data to pinpoint where he was and where he wasn't, where he was saying he was, and then they were able to go and actually find the body. So, yeah.
Well, let's say, and I know I lived overseas for a while. They got something called CCTV.
Mm-hmm.
That's everywhere, every corner, every store,
Everything.
light
Yep.
post. So
Mhm.
there's cameras and
Yep.
surveillance all the time. And so if you guys don't know, right, if you haven't seen the show yet, it's called Hunted. Have you ever seen the show?
Mm.
So one of my favorite shows came out in like 2017. I was like on CBS or something like that. I think it was CBS. So 2017. So it's a little bit older, a little bit dated when you watch it. So the technology's 8 years newer from there. So even worse. But they paid people if you win $250,000, and all you had to do was escape and evade for 28 days. And you could pick whatever, like they gave you time to prepare. I think it was like 48 hours to prepare like your plan, your escape route, where you're going to go, how you're going to get your money, yada yada yada. So you got
Mhm.
time to set up. Then you have to just leave. And these people got found every single time because they wasn't even like active duty like FBI agents. These were like off duty, like they just know they have these skills and they understand how to find stuff, to look through your trash, to look through like, I mean, they were finding stuff like, if you have like a notepad. Well, like if you're writing on a notepad to like write it on an address because you don't want to go on the internet, and then you rip the top sheet off, there's an imprint on that second sheet of paper.
Mhm.
And they were finding all kind of stuff. They were using cameras from ATM machines. Like it ain't got nothing to do with you, but they just was like, hey, tap into the ATM machine because there's always a surveillance camera on there for protection of the person. But it was mind blowing to think, oh, I could probably just go into the woods and be fine. And they were like, you can't, unless you literally go off into like the desert and then never leave, which is impossible in today's world. You got to get mail, you got to get food, you got to get water, you're going to need to get medical attention one day. They're like, no matter what happens, you can't escape. There is no escape anymore. And that was 8 years ago. Imagine today where everything, like your phones are even better, everything's triangulated even better. There's more towers, more satellites, more everything, even though they're in low orbit. But there's so much more. And these guys couldn't. This is a TV show. These are like the best. These guys were like, oh yeah, I'm a mountain man. You'll never find me. They're like, got you. Some people got found like same day because it's impossible. Our world today does not allow you to not be surveillanced to get
Mm.
away with anything ever. It just blew my mind.
I
So it's
might
called
have to check that out.
yeah, it was interesting because it was in a TV. It was like those like Fear Factor kind of style shows, where it's like the camera angles and all the different stuff. But they actually show their methodology, and I liked it. I really enjoyed like a real life but kind of scripted but mostly real life show because you get
Mhm.
to you learn a few things.
That's actually really good marketing too, because every dude in the back of their mind has that same thought. Oh yeah, but I could do it because I could do without so and so, and I could do this, and I like that. Like
Mhm.
that's really good marketing. That's really cool, man. But you
Yeah.
could probably learn a lot from it too.
And that's why I was watching. I was like, okay, so what are they putting out here? They're selling you like, yes, we can look through your trash. And they were like, and then they were going through like the legal channels. They weren't like, because there's like your bounty hunter dudes that are like they're illegally checking behind you and they're like roughing
Yeah,
up your mom or your sister or something. You know what I
yeah.
mean? They were just completely above board legal channels, things that were available to the public, like
Mm.
your phone records, your ISP searches for your internet, like just generic available stuff for anybody. And they were like, gotcha. Oh, you thought you got away with it. Gotcha. Oh, you thought you could leave the state lines. No, we got you. What are you talking about? It blew my mind.
Okay, well, it looks like Joe has been down here cooking on something for a minute, so I definitely want to give him an opportunity to say whatever it is he's working on because he is diligent
Oh.
down there. But I got a question for y'all that kind of lends me to a thought process of, we have this idea of being prepared, right,
Mhm.
for the next thing that comes up. Is it even possible for us to be prepared? Right?
No.
And if so, for what? Biblical stuff? Really? You're gonna be prepared for that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm just curious about that. But Joe, go ahead. What you got, Bubba?
Trying to find it on here. It was a movie that Tom Hanks did. You're talking about surveillance and phones and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And this is not helping me out at all. It said The Man with One Red Shoe. It says a movie. I put in you type in what you're looking for, and it's about using phones and for tracking and finding people. It says
I think I
the
saw
movie you're
that.
thinking of is The Man with One Red Shoe, but that's not it because that's an older movie where
Okay.
Tom Hanks plays a randomly targeted by CIA surveillance, and phones are heavily used to track and find people. That's not it's a different movie. It came out probably, I'm guessing, about 2017, 19. And I
Are you sure it
think
was
the
Tom Hanks?
girl, I'm pretty sure it's Tom Hanks, and it's not that old of a movie, but in the movie, I think it was the girl that plays in Harry Potter movies. What's her name? Y'all remember? Is it Emma something or
Emma Watson.
maybe it's Emma Watson? Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. I think she's one of the main characters in it. But anyway, in that movie, it was the scary part of it, or the concerning part was when you talk about how they find people, Kyle, you talk about how they knew how many steps this guy took and all this stuff.
Hmm.
Well, during that movie, there was a part where it's up on the big screen and they're trying to find this one guy, and he's been gone for a while. No one knows where he is, and he was showing how the technology could find him. You know what I'm talking
Are
about
are
now?
are you going? Are you talking about the scene where they literally tie into everyone's phone in a certain area to pinpoint it? They use like the
Literally.
cameras on everybody's phone to find this.
Yes.
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 What was that? That wasn't like the second Da Vinci Code thing, was it?
No, no, no.
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna hold on a second.
When you said Tom Hanks, I'm just trying to think of a movie that he would have been in like that. I know the scene you're talking about, but I cannot think of even who was in the movie, let alone what it was. What are you
Here
talking
it is. I was right. It was 2017. It's called The Circle.
about? Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
that's it. It says the main cast. Thank you, Jonathan, for that because I put in Emma Thompson, and that's not right. Emma Thompson's an older lady, but Emma Watson. It says Emma Watson plays May Holland, a young woman who lands a job at a powerful tech and social media company called The
Mm.
Circle. Tom Hanks portrays Eamon Bailey, the charismatic founder of the company. The story explores themes of privacy, surveillance, and the dangers of unchecked technology as May becomes entangled in the company's vision of total transparency. Excuse me. Anyway, so I remember in the movie, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a while back. So they end up finding this guy, but he didn't want to be found. But
Mhm.
I think they end up chasing him with a drone and he gets in an accident and possibly dies from it, if I remember correctly. You remember that, Jonathan? Did you see the movie?
Yeah, he got in a I forgot, he was, like, at his old parents' house or something like that, and they
Right.
ran into the side of the bridge. I don't remember if he died or not, but, I mean, I remember that scene
Yeah.
because like, yeah, the movie did get crazy where they had, like, phones in their bedrooms watching each other sleep and stuff, and I was like,
Mm.
What is going on?" But it was like it's that whole, like, social influence, and you got to earn your way into the world, and the more you do, the
Yeah.
more you get, and so then there's an incentive to do more and to
Right.
give up more and more of your rights and freedoms. So yeah, that was a good movie. I mean, I can't vouch for its like kosherness, but
Yeah,
I
it's been a
enjoyed the
minute,
watch.
but well, it made me think of the way it was portrayed to me always made me think a little bit of how Facebook is set up with facial recognition, all that stuff. Because if you were to take everyone's photos, like let's say someone put up photos, we're at so and so's wedding today, and they just put up photos of the wedding. It can go through there, and everybody who's on Facebook that has a facial recognition already, it'll tell you who all the people are. Matter of fact, it may be even if it's not listed, tell you where that venue is eventually. Like, oh, where was that at? And start typing in stuff, and then you can literally find out where they had their wedding at, or you can find out where. And then people, to me personally, I don't think it's a wise idea when people say, "Oh, I'm in so and so place." You're telling people on Facebook, that you're in another state vacationing. You just told everybody you're not home.
Mhm.
Right.
You just told anybody who's trolling through that, "Oh, you're not home?" And they can go through and I literally, believe me, there's people out there that's good enough. They can figure out where you live.
Oh
Yeah.
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 All they need is a name. But matter of
Mhm.
fact, I sent a gift to my buddy, and I couldn't remember his address. And so we literally just pulled up his name and went to Zillow and pulled his name up and it pulled up his house, where he lives at, all that. So I got his address that way. That was simple
Wow.
because I couldn't get in touch with him. So yeah, I was like, oh, I said, and then Caleb was like, oh, Dad, I'll get it for you. So he pulls up Zillow and we just put in his name, pulls up his house. I know where his house, I know the street he lives on. I just couldn't remember the address. And off of Zillow, I got his mailing address.
Wow.
Hacker Joe over
Yeah.
here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Dude, one of the smartest, sneakiest, but smartest things that Google and Facebook has done is allowed their platforms to be used for login information for other sites.
Mhm.
So, you can sign up for whatever it is by putting in your email, and then you got to go through all the things of enter your name, your address, your phone number, or you could just log in using Facebook.
Mhm.
Click done, right? Now Facebook is gathering all of that information from you and tracking all of that. And oh, it's
But
unreal.
it's so convenient, Kyle, just to click one time.
Right.
It is the convenient. I do it sometimes. Say, hey, you want to sign in with your Google? Sure.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
So all right. So back to my question.
Prepping.
Is it possible for us to be prepared?
Uh,
And whatever scenario you want to put out there.
okay, so my scenario is we're stuck in the vacuum. No, I'm just kidding. Um, uh, the vacuum of space over here. The
Right.
no, I think there's a logical side of preparations and being prepared, where like have some food on hand, right? Like if somebody if your power goes out, for instance, right, and it goes out for 2 weeks, everything in your refrigerator's done. So
Hmm.
what are you gonna do for some kind of food? It's in the middle of winter and you live in somewhere cold and your power goes out, have something to do, right?
Hmm.
If you have access to water nearby, have something to do. So I think
Right.
there's some levels of preparation like that, where it's like maybe have a couple of life straws, because the survival a lot of times is just getting through them first 72 hours. It's not about you
Right.
know building a community in another place. Like, hey, if the world's going downhill, oh well, right? There's only so much you can do when there's jets, planes, and atomic bombs, right?
Right.
You can survive an alligator or something. Like, figure that the small stuff. A lot of times it's like in those zombie movies, it's the people you got to worry about more than the zombies.
Right.
So I think when you talk about preparation, I think there's a little bit of stuff that you can do out of just being cautious or wisdom, which is kind of what we already do anyway. Like if you live somewhere where there's hurricanes, they always tell you to have batteries, water, flashlights, like certain stuff where you're just like, these are generically good things to have around.
Right.
A
Right.
knife, a lighter, stuff like that. But to go and say, I've got a whole entire bunker and I've got 900 years of food, you're like, first of all, right? You're not gonna be able to eat that much food. Second of all,
I could.
so don't challenge
That's a
me.
challenge. That's a challenge right there, son.
900
What
years,
is
he's
that
like,
over
really?
there? 900 years worth? Yeah, consider it gone.
But yeah,
Challenge accepted.
so I think there is some prep that you should do, and some logical thought process you should have behind it. But the whole like trying to survive the tribulation or survive World War X or something, like, come on, we must be a little bit more realistic with our expectations.
Well, I mean, not well. This year we really didn't have any hurricanes here,
Mm.
but
Yet.
the previous year we had some pretty serious outages, and I mean, in years prior we've had some really bad ones.
Mhm.
I know that we've gone more than a week at our house without power, but there's been people in our general area that have gone over a month without power.
Right.
Um,
Or like the whole
so,
situation in North Carolina.
or yeah, one of those situations.
Yeah,
Good
the highway
gracious.
was knocked out and everything. You're like, you better figure that
Oh
out.
yeah, when the interstates were literally washed out. I was there.
Yeah.
I had to go through that area months
Like you
later,
could,
and it was still a mess.
yeah, I mean, you nobody could get to you to help you,
Right.
right? They were working their way in. So
Well, yeah,
so
yeah.
yeah.
So let me tell you what I think the best way that we can prep is. You not only like we always say, okay, have a storeroom like Jonathan has 900 years of food. So when
Mhm.
everybody gets hungry, we're going to Jonathan's house. And
Don't look at my address on Zillow.
yeah. So anyway, here's the thing. You need to start living in a way that doesn't affect you,
That's it.
because you can store up all the food you want to, but what happens when it runs out? Like, let me tell you something. People
What
don't
happens
realize
when it gets
this,
stolen from you
right? People
or
don't
rats get
realize,
into
you
it?
know what? You can grow your own food.
Mm.
You can your own food. You can
Mm,
do things. You can have chickens. You can have whatever, People say, well, I live in a neighborhood. Let me tell you something. I lived in a neighborhood too, but I had 5 chickens in the backyard and they would produce enough eggs for me and my family almost daily.
You don't have to have a
Um,
rooster.
you say, well, I live in an apartment. Guess what? There's books you can buy, YouTube videos you can watch where people literally teach you how to, I forgot what it's called. It's like the towers
Mm.
that you
Hmm.
can make that literally grow food out of it. And let me tell you
Get on your
something, when you're
porch.
eating, and here's the thing. When you are actually eating healthy food, quote unquote healthy food, you actually eat less of it.
Hmm.
You don't need a bushel of, whatever to sustain you. You know what I'm saying? You don't need
Right.
like, a whole storehouse full of potatoes and everything else. It's like, actually, when you're eating healthy, you eat less. But the problem is we want to have a bug out plan. We want to have this plan. We want to have 400 years of food stored up. We want to have, 25 cases of bullets. We want to have all this stuff stored up, but we're still living in the system. If you truly want to prep, start getting off the system. Invest in your solar, and if you can, invest in things that whatever is within your means. Start doing it. Start learning how to do things. That's the point. Because
Mhm.
once you can only store up so much, and when that's gone, or like you said, Kyle, stolen, what are you going to do then?
Hmm.
Mold.
And say, here's some seeds. What do I do with that? You put it in the dirt. What do I do then? You put some water on it and you let it grow. It's like it's as elementary as that, but we've been taken so far out of that we think, oh, that's so far beyond us. I'm like, dude, people do it all the time.
Mhm.
There's an old Alabama song. I think it's "Song of the South" by Alabama. Or I don't know if that's the title, but I remember a "Song of the South," "Sweet Potato Pie," and "Shut My Mouth." The whole song.
Hmm.
Anyway, I think that's the song where part of that there's a verse in that song that says, "We were so poor that when Wall Street fell, we were so poor that we couldn't tell."
Hmm.
Mm.
It wasn't necessarily that you were poor, because they were already living off the land. They were already growing their own foods. They were already. It's like, man, we were just living everyday life. We weren't even hardly affected by. I didn't even know that was happening, because we were actually
Right.
removed away from this. We were removed from that.
Mm.
And so for us, it's to think smarter. It's like, hey, learn how to grow some things. Start small. Me and my wife started 2 years ago, growing some cucumbers, growing different, vegetables, and with the help of friends who know how to do these things and giving us advice. And we did it again this year. And I've got fruit trees, and we're eventually going to get our chickens, over here on the property, and maybe some goats, and you know because those are things that keep producing for you.
Hmm.
The other ones, guess what? We've got freeze dried food here. It's only good for so long too, by the way.
Yeah.
And once you go through, what are you going to do then?
Right. And the
So
funny thing about those like food packs or whatever, people think, oh, this is for your meal. Like if you're gonna use those, if any effect, those are like, yes, there's 2,000 calories in there for 30 days for one person. So then if
For
you
one
got a
person,
family
yeah.
of 4, that's now 7 days. So you
Mm-hmm.
got to
Yep.
understand that that's to help you to bridge the gap. In the meantime, you're eating one of those meals a day instead of all 4,
Right.
and then you're going out and fishing, you're going out and trapping, you're going out and finding the local edibles or whatever, because that's just meant to supplement, and then you eventually have to sustain somewhere else. And because I kind
Yes.
of did the math one day. I was like, oh, I got 30. Oh, this ain't 30 days of nothing. This ain't
Right.
gonna last very
Shoot.
long.
At my
All right.
house, that may be one day, boy.
Um,
Gone.
I got based off of what y'all said, I got 3 things. So,
All right.
number
Hey, you
one,
see that? You see that, Jonathan? He threw up the Illuminati sign
You
right there.
did,
Right?
and you just did it too. So
I
that's
know. Well, I'm just saying he did it, and
I
then
told you,
now
got
I'm
to turn
doing
it
it.
so that way you can't see it. It just look like 3. There you go. No, oh, we're good.
My,
y'all
my
know I
arm don't
scuba
turn
dive.
like that.
Y'all know I scuba dive, right? Like that's literally the symbol that
I
you
know.
give
I
to let
know.
people know
Yeah.
that you're good.
Yeah.
So
Hey, Kyle, you're good with us, brother. Don't worry about it.
just don't be covering up one eye, right?
Next week it'll be Joe and Jonathan.
Um, okay, so 3 things. So one, being prepared for 72 hours. I mean, for goodness sakes, just have an ability to drink clean water and have stuff for your children. Because tell me one person, well, I'm sure there's a person.
What
There's
about
not
me?
there's not many people in this country that probably should fast for 72 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like most people should. Just saying, they could do
Why are you
without.
looking at me?
It'd be okay. Just saying. Um, I did the math. I have to share this. I did the math.
Uh-oh.
I did the
That's
math on.
dangerous.
So my wife and I, we were getting pretty hard and heavy into prepping at one point,
Oh,
and I kept trying to tell family, "Hey, you got to do this, do this, do that. Have something on standby just in case, right?" And we just could not convince them to start doing anything. So we just took it upon ourselves. Okay, our family, they're going to be goofballs. Stuff's going to happen one day. It's going to hit the fan, and we're going to have to be the ones to take care of them. I did the math. I did the math on toilet paper alone. And I based this off of the cheapest toilet paper I could find, purchasing in bulk, the average number of squares per adult person per day. Like I broke it down. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
mm,
We would have had, and I was planning on preparing because this is back when I was in the whole 7-year tribulation mindset, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
We would have had to have purchased well over $100,000 worth of toilet paper alone. So I said, maybe we should look into alternatives for this because I ain't got 100
Yeah, because
grand.
washing yourself is totally out of the question, right?
So I'm like, okay, maybe we can look in a different way. So we
I
we
go
learned
wade in the
about
water.
we learned about Indian toilet paper, that sort of thing, and the plant, also called cowboy toilet paper.
As long as it's not
Or
John Wayne, because it doesn't take it off of anybody. Okay,
or just,
so it's
or just using water and that sort of thing, right? So there's ways to take care of things, and that led me to my third thing that I thought was really awesome that you said. We hear this statement: "Be in the world, but not of the world," right?
right.
When you were given the Alabama song example,
Yep.
in the world, but not of the world. If you are already living a lifestyle where you're not dependent upon the world, when the world collapses, you don't feel it. It doesn't mean that you don't feel it near as much anyway, at the very least. But if you're not dependent on the world system, then when the world system crashes or does what it does, you're not affected by it. It doesn't mean that you can't live a fantastic life. You may not be driving a Ferrari and all that stuff, but
Not driving one now, so what does it matter?
exactly, right? So anyway, I think that was just awesome points there, man.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yes, we're gonna have tribulation. Uh, do people have the ability to hide? There will be some. Scripture tells us that there's going to be some, that skate by, that are. but you're not escaping the Almighty. If he calls your name, that's it. Game over.
Ooh, you in trouble. I'm sorry.
Right?
Getting called to the office.
Come to the office, please. Yeah. That's game over. That's game over. Right? There's
Well,
no way you're getting around that if he calls your name. That's it. You're done. Right?
Yep.
100-pound boulders falling from the sky, bro.
On fire.
Or yeah, hail mixed with fire. You're not
Pass.
getting away from that.
how is it cold and hot at the same time?
Right? I'm just saying, like, people who think that they're going to prep for this stuff, they are in for a rude awakening.
Right. Well,
And I will say that one last thing, and I'll shut up. I'll let you get out to this. But we did quite a bit of prepping in the past, and the Father revealed to both my wife and myself that he didn't necessarily, because we prayed about whether we should prep or not, and so we did, and then we kind of got like really into it, and then he revealed to us that, hey, I didn't say that this was necessarily for you. So take that for whatever that means. I don't know. They were just like, okay.
You said Georgia, right?
It's a pretty big place.
Look him up on Zillow.
But, all right, my bad, Joe. Go ahead.
No, the thing too is you can only be so prepared, regardless if you're growing your own food, if you got your own animals, you got your own solar power, you got whatever. The main thing that we need to cover though, as far as being prepared, is your heart. Are you right with the Father? What's your spiritual life looking like? You can run, you can hide, you can do all these things when it's all said and done. And look, none of us know for certain how it's all going to play out, what part we're going to have in it, where we're going to be at, how that's going to look, even if it's in our lifetime, if it's something our children's going to have to deal with, we don't know. But all I can tell you is the Bible says, don't fear the one that can take your life, fear the one who when you die, has control over where your soul goes. And so all this prep you're doing, make sure you're prepping you. Make sure you're prepping your family. Make sure you're spiritually, you're taking care of the house. Because when it's all said and done, the main, when I die, I want my spirit to be where his is, period.
Yeah.
And, I want us all to be there together. And when it's all said and done. So that's first and foremost, that's number one. And then the rest of it, Bible even says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, then all these things shall be added unto you. And look, make sure you're right with the Father and do what you can do. And like you said, Kyle, maybe it's not for you. Maybe if you do grow your own food, maybe if you have your animals, maybe if you have all this stuff, or maybe it's not just for you, maybe it's for others who will come and be a part of, a safe refuge for others to be a part of. So there's a lot of scenarios that can play out. And but again, we just need to be prepared in our heart with our maker and be ready to go when it's our time to go.
Yeah. Yeah, my quick addition to that is like, you said we get about body, we talk about soul. And I think, the big part of it is just obviously getting your personal health in order. Like if you can't walk a mile, good luck getting away from anything. If you can't go more than a few days without some form of doctor intervention, you're not gonna make it very long.
Right.
And that's not to scare you or to say that, hey, if you're dealing with something, that's your current situation. I'm not belittling it at all. But there's gonna be a point where you might have to do something. Like the people of Israel, there was no, well, I got to stop because fill in the blank. It was like, no, the pillar of cloud has moved. Get your gold rings or get your tapestry or get your whatever, and let's go. And there wasn't a, well, sorry, we all got to go back and get fill in the blank of your current condition. It was, that's where we're going. Now the Father sustained them and protected them, and I think that's the biggest part of all of it. Like Joe was saying, is like getting right with the Father is the answer. There outside of that, trying to do it on your own, you lose. So like, don't ever go unequipped into the anything. But getting your health in order and trying to be off of as much worldly intervention as possible. That's going to be it's going to get you probably that'll get you past 90% of the population, just that alone. And then
Yep.
after that, then can you eat? Well, it doesn't matter if you can't eat if you got to live on medicine to get to tomorrow. Then food doesn't matter anymore. It's like you might as well don't have any food. You might as well have a stockpile of drugs, I guess, because that's the only thing that's going to keep you going, at least for that short time. But I
Yeah,
wanted to read a
and all
verse
it
that was. Sorry, go ahead.
no, I said, and with that, Jonathan, all it takes is them shutting it off.
Right.
And
Mm.
they're looking to say, hey, look, as easy as they quit making pennies and now they're probably going to quit making nickels here soon also. All you got to say is, yeah, we're just not making no more medicine for diabetics and heart and anything else. Like, yeah, just,
Yeah.
Most of
yeah.
our food comes from overseas. What happens if that gets shut off?
Wait, no more
Oh,
avocados?
I know, right?
Oh, man.
Or most of our beef supply, you know what I'm saying? Like
Mhm.
a lot of our food.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Squirrel it is.
sc-
No, just
Oh,
kidding. Just kidding.
man, I'll
All right.
tell you what, living in the South, if they were kosher, Bo, they'd be the first ones wiped out.
Oh, yeah. Every soup bowl will be full of one. All right. So let's check this verse out. This is one that kind of hit home whenever we're thinking about it. And if you guys don't know already, it's Matthew 24. The
mm,
disciples are asking him, hey, what's the sign of the times? What's going on, Yeshua? And he's like, let me tell you. But Matthew 24, verse 3 and 4 says, and he sat on the Mount of Olives. The disciples came to him privately. So that was a key. Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming of the end of the age? And Jesus, Yeshua, answered, see that no one leads you astray. I love that his first thing was make sure nobody lies to you and tells you some craziness.
mhm,
I'm going to share information with you, and we've been sharing information. That's all you need to worry about. So you're going to hear a lot of stuff. You're going to hear a lot of fear mongering. You're going to hear a lot of, well, Jesus is coming back. Oh, he already came back. Oh, the Messiah's over here. The Messiah's over there. He's like, you're going to hear all kind of craziness. He's like, no, I'll tell you about how this is going to go. Here's
mhm.
all the events, and then I'm going to leave on that mountain right there that I'm standing on. I'm going to go straight up, and when I come back in the clouds up there, not down here, up there, everybody's going to know about it. You're not going to miss it. Don't be deceived. Well, but didn't Jesus come back already 1,000 years ago? And then little season there, all this other stuff going on. He's like, hey, I told you what was going to happen. Don't be deceived. Don't be led astray.
Right.
So, in my opinion, like when we get to the end of all of it, Yeshua was just like, I'm just trying to take care of you guys. Yes, stuff's coming. I already promised you that. That was guaranteed. But don't be deceived and worried about everything that you hear all over the place and all over the news. The news cycle is going to be the news cycle. Now, for those who have ears to hear, they're going to hear. The Spirit's going to lead. So that's why being in tune with the Father is a plus, because you're like, hey, we're supposed to do what? Got you, God. Versus your neighbor down the street. I got 25 cans of ammo, like Joe said. You're like, that's not going to help you when God's after you.
Right.
uh, I would try something different, like not
Yeah.
that. But it's interesting just to see all that. And then, like I said, with the Mount of Olives, that's the central point of all the tribulation stuff. That's when he left. That's when he's coming back. That area is going to be a hot spot for do not live there. Do not go there. That's where danger everything is at, right? So it's interesting to me that that's a big highlight place of let's all go to. And there's some stuff in the Bible that tells you what's happening over there.
Right. Right.
Flee the city. Go to the mountains. Go anywhere. Don't be there.
All right. Well, I got a question for y'all. Now, there are people that believe that we're already in the middle of the tribulation somewhere. And I'm of the opinion that there's always going to be tribulation until there's great tribulation.
Mhm.
Um, and obviously, when that happens, everybody gonna know it, right? Like this, no mistaking what is going on at that time. I guess I'm curious what y'all think. Why is it that it seems like the rest of the world is experiencing, especially Christians, right? Such horrible tribulation and doesn't seem to be happening anywhere near that level here. What say you? Why do you think? Why do you think that we are? I don't know. Are we being protected during this time? Are we being shielded? Or is it because maybe we are part of the bad guys? And I say we, I'm referring to our country, right? That's causing tribulation elsewheres. I don't know. What do y'all think? Why do you think the Christians here aren't experiencing the tribulation that they're experiencing virtually all over the world?
All
I
right,
I think
so
we are.
yeah,
Let me. I'm gonna say this real quick. I think we are, but in a different way.
Well, that's
Um,
what I'm asking is why are we not experiencing it the way that they are? Like they're being slaughtered in
right.
a
Well, they
lot
don't
of
live under
places
the
right now.
same type of government we live under. They don't live under the same rules that we live under.
Sure.
You know, I mean, just go like I've never driven over there, but just watching videos of just the way they drive, they can't even. I mean, there's literally no reasoning to where they're going, and some of when you watch these videos of all these horrific accidents that take place, majority of them are over there. It isn't here. Their regulations just overall are just completely different, and you know, where over there you have Christians who are literally being martyred
Hmm.
for their faith. Here, what we're seeing is an infiltration into the church. And I've talked about this with my sermon series about witchcraft in the church. And then you have homosexuality in the church. You've got gay, lesbian pastors now, and there's so much. And so it's happening in a different way where it's not where people are being martyred for their faith. It's just that their faith is getting now just very blurry. It's getting very skewed. It's getting very like, I don't even know anymore, like, the things that I see happening here in America, it's just on a different scale of, destruction and removing people away from the true faith, removing people away from understanding God's word, all the stupid and idiotic things that churches are doing for their Easter week and their plays and all the stuff that they're doing and the things that they're saying, and we're just I think we're being attacked in a different way. Where over there it's like, we don't care either way about you at all, so we don't like you. China and all these other countries that are, where they're literally tearing churches down. I
Hmm.
watched a video where they were out there with the big, what's that thing called?
The
the
wrecking
wrecking
The
ball.
ball,
ball and chain. Yeah, the wrecking ball, tearing down
ball and
churches left
chain.
and right.
whose
Yeah.
whose wife is over there destroying
Who's his
churches?
wife over there? They're literally over there with a wrecking ball tearing churches down because they don't care.
Mm,
Mm.
They're completely of a different religion. That's the other problem too, is supposedly we were founded upon Christian values here, where these other countries, that's not even close to
Right.
anything of what they were founded on. So it's hard to compare. It's not really apples to apples, but on our forefront, we're just being God's word's being destroyed here. I'm not saying, and I don't mean to blanket that with all churches, but a lot of your mainstream churches, a lot of the things that are going on now and the denominations that are allowing different things that take place within their congregations is completely destroying the word, is completely changing people's opinions, and a lot of weak-minded people are following it and believing it to be true. So that's my feelings on it.
mm. Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of there's is there one right correct answer? No, but I think there like let's use Egypt for an example. Egypt was doing their own thing, and they were very useful to God's people
Hmm.
very often
Mhm.
until they weren't, and then they got
Okay.
blown off the map. Right? Not just one plague,
Mm.
10 plagues. So up until it was their time to be done with the story, they were awesome. They were winning the game. They 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 had the world in the palm of their hand. And then God
Mm.
showed up and said, "We're done with your foolishness because we gave you opportunities to say yes, and then
Mhm.
whenever it was your chance to say yes, you said no." And I think America's in in a situation where when you degrade your values, you degrade your stances, you degrade the message from the church. When things get to be real weak sauce, when it's your time to account for what you believe, if you say no, you've just defied and went against the God of the universe. I don't think he's gonna be so happy with that decision that you're making, and you're
Mm.
no longer going to be receiving the blessings that you were. Egypt was blessed beyond all measure. They fed the world for a time, back in biblical days.
Hmm.
That's a win. in America, we've been the breadbasket, the Rust Belt, the Bible Belt, right? We got all these names, all this cool stuff we do. You know, we're the world's police. We're the democracy of the world. We have the monetary values of the world, right? The dollar is the money for the world right now,
Yeah, the
until it
standard.
isn't, right? And
Until
guess
it
how?
is. That's
And guess
right.
how long it takes for that to go away? One plague, two plague, three plague, done. You're out of here. And what does God do? Takes His people, provides them a way out, and protects them amongst
Mhm.
whatever's going on. So with America, it's hard to say because there's I think it was a song, I forgot who sang it, but it's called the slow fade. And I think America's got a big part of like what that is, where it's like you had your mountaintop experience, the Mount Sinai, equivalent, and then it's just like you're slowly allowing things to creep in. You're slowly allowing your values to just go to almost nothing. It's okay. It's a we stuff that we see today wouldn't even fly 50 years ago in the church, right? Just not even a inkling of a thought process. So I almost wonder if the reason why we don't have that same tribulation persecution is just like we don't need to. We're doing it. We're falling away on our own, right? So
Self-destructing.
yeah, why come in and poke the bear when the bear's jumping off a cliff? It's like
Mm,
just leave him alone, right? Just go blow yourself up. Where in other places in the world, when you're hardcore and you're standing up, one for your faith, two for your faith, yeah, you have direct opposition. But guess what? They're creating martyrs. So
mm,
it's like God wins no matter what. And when we talk about the martyrs, it says those are guys who are under the throne. They're like, God, when are you going to avenge us? He says, don't worry, wait a little bit longer. The
mhm,
people who are living in the lap of luxury buying two jets, he's not saying that to them. You know what I mean? He says it's easier for a camel to get through the eye of a needle than a rich man to get into heaven. Rich man who happens to be preaching this super watered down version of the Bible. So I think there's so much tribulation and persecution already built into our system. And we, like Joe said, we kind of don't see it. We don't feel it because we're just like, we got a boat with like 900 holes in the bottom, but it feels good because we're in the boat. When we're looking at other people on a life preserver, we're kind of laughing.
Mhm.
They're the ones that are going to make it because
mhm.
their boat's not sinking. So there's a lot of answer to that. There's a lot of nuance to that. But I don't know why I always kind of view us as like that Egypt mentality of like, oh, you're great until you're not. And God's in
Right.
control of that. And what he says, I will bless you for when you bless the people that love God, that are in covenant, the fellow believers. And if you don't, then I'll start cursing you, right? And that doesn't apply to the geographical land overseas or a people group, whatever. He says those in covenant. So
Right.
let's squash that all before we get started.
So I kind of think that this is, there's two ways that an enemy goes against someone. The enemy can come by force, or the enemy can come by subversion. Right. That's the two ways that an enemy attacks
Good word.
and overcomes. Um, and so I think what we're seeing in a lot of the rest of the world is, that physical attacking. And what we're seeing here is mostly the subversion type stuff. Um, we have Second Amendment. We have, the way our government is set up, we have these rights that other places just simply do not have. And I think that's one of the reasons that Yeshua said, hey, get a sword. Okay, you got a couple. All right, you got enough. You're good. I don't think it was just for the purpose of cutting off the dude's ear, just for that moment. I do think that, that was a big deal. I think that was meant to happen. But, um, you don't really have people try to come at you too often when you're brandishing a weapon, right? People attack easy targets.
Mm.
They don't attack something that they see as a challenge. Um, So if you're brandishing a weapon, they're like, okay, we're going to have to try this a different way. The enemy's going to come at you through subversion and watering down and doing whatever they can to dilute, distort, distract, that kind of thing away from truth. Until the opportunity presents itself for them to come in and attack. And that's when they generally take their move to do so, I guess. So, I still think we're a little ways off, but I mean, how easily could our system fail overnight? It wouldn't take much. right?
Oh.
I don't think it has to take 3 plagues. I think it can happen at the press of a keyboard stroke, overnight, the
Mhm.
way the system is set up, right? It wouldn't take much for it to all fall apart. The country is so divided amongst various people groups, whether it be any political subject whatsoever, skin color, culture, where they're originally from. I mean, pick a subject. One of my favorite things to see on Facebook is, people will argue over anything. Here's proof. This is a rock, and they show
Mhm.
a picture of a rock, right? And then going and looking at the comments underneath that, you have people going there. No, that's this and this and this, and that they'll use all these scientific terms. It's a rock. You know what I mean? But there's so much delusion, distraction, and separation. There is no unity. There's very little unity with the people of any nation or this nation. So, how much would it really take before that's over and we're done? Right? The enemy has the ability to attack at that point. No
Mm.
longer subversion, but physical attacking. How easy would that be? I don't know, man. I think that's one of the reasons that Yeshua said, get you some swords. And now that you got swords, okay, cool. Don't be deceived.
Mm.
You're covered that way, right? They're not going to attack you if you're not an easy target. And even if they do, I have you on a specific mission.
Right.
I'm going to protect you, right? They can boil you in oil. They can boil you in oil.
There you go. There's some eyes in that.
Yeah. I'll protect you through it, right? But those were people that had specific missions. Those that didn't have specific missions, yeah, they were martyred.
Mm.
So
But they
I
also got
think
the white robes too, though.
they got the white robes. That's right. So
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, it comes down to this. Ultimately, there's nowhere to hide. There's nowhere to go. There's no way to be prepared for all that is to come. The only thing you can do is be prepared, like Joe was saying. Be prepared spiritually. Be prepared with our Heavenly Father. Be in the right standing with Him so that when stuff does happen, you're good there.
Mm.
That's the only thing you need to be concerned about. So that's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I mean the whole thing is this isn't a solo mission. If you're out there on your own, even if you are literally on your own, find a group, find a community, find an email address, a Facebook, a YouTube, or something. Because when you look at the people of God, they're never um, isolated. They're never by themselves. They're always in a group. They're always moved together. Like when you look at the people coming out of Egypt, like I said, they were all together. When you look at the disciples sent two by two,
Yeah.
that example follows all throughout Scripture. And so I think that's one of our biggest protections is he's like, hey, when two or more are gathered, I am there. Of course, he's there anyway, but he's like, hey, just so you know, I mean, this group activity is that big a deal. That's why they call it convocation. That's why they call it assembly. That's why they call it gathering. That's why everything involves getting back together with other believers and living life together. And I think, yes, you're going to work on your spiritual, you're going to work on your physical, you're going to work on your prep and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, he's like, figure out how to live together in community with other believers because guess what? That person's made in the image of God. That person has the same spirit that you have.
Mm.
And ultimately, if I'm leading, either you're going to need them or they're going to need you, or you're both are going to need me anyway. So be led by the spirit and go together as you deal with the wiles of the world.
Amen. Woo. Well, this has been a fun one.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait to see what we talk about next.
I'm
Yeah,
prepared.
boy.
Just be prepared.